What did you do before the pandemic and stuff? What was your...
I came to Glasgow in 1990, and I worked with kind of homeless people in a residential setting.
Right, cool.
So the first place was like an emergency homeless project in the city centre, which was wild, really wild. That was people in real crisis. And then I moved on to kind of working with kind of younger homeless people, so that was like 16 to 21-year-olds in kind of residential settings with a look to moving them onto their own independence, their own flats. And then I worked with their same people, but in their flats, to keep them in the flats.
Right. So you've been at all the stages.
And then latterly, when I took a kind of early redundancy, and then just went to do kind of part-time session work. And I went back to doing the kind of more emergency kind of stuff again, which was again was nuts and mental. So that was like all in all about 28, 29 years of me doing that. So and I realised that, you know, after playing the guitar for so many years, that I thought, hold on a minute, I've got so many stories about the people and the characters I've worked with over the time. And there was some fucking amazing characters that I've worked with.
I bet, man.
As you can imagine, in Glasgow, you know, my first 2 weeks in Glasgow, I didn't understand
what was
one
that, sorry,
word.
1990, did you say?
1990. So, the reason why I came, I was in art school in Bath. So Bath is incredibly posh, affluent place. The art school was beautiful. So I wanted to do something that was like an extreme to that. So I applied to this volunteer organisation, and they basically sent you wherever you got sent. You didn't get a choice, and they said, right, what about a homeless project in the city centre in Glasgow? And I'm like, okay,
that was a kind of radical shift you were looking for at that time. Well, I'm sure you got it.
So it wouldn't mean I was yes, but it was yes, that'd be lovely.
Yeah.
So I kind of rocked up in Glasgow, 22-year-old, and I was sent to this city centre emergency homeless project. And
wow,
it was like a 50-bedded place as well. So, and I think the age group was 18 to 35, and it was people from all walks of life. But like I say, it was mainly people in crisis. So it was people with addiction issues, a lot of addiction issues, mental health issues, people who have been in and out of prison. So emergency projects of people that have maybe been kicked out of a lot of other projects, or lost their tenancies, or just come out of prison, or been in kind of just come out of rehab, or just want to go into rehab. You know, it's the whole gamut of people in crisis.
Situations,
So I was thrown from being a 21-year-old, 22-year-old in one of the most affluent places in England, beautiful city of Bath, into this situation in Glasgow.
What a change that was!
And it could have brought me, and a lot of other volunteers that did that. They lasted maybe 2-3 weeks. But 2 weeks into it, I was like, I love Glasgow. I fucking love Glasgow.
Did you get that good buzz from it straight away?
I got that buzz immediately.
That's cool, man.
I love pubs, and I love, if I go to a different city, the first thing I'll do is do a wee tour of as many pubs as I can. But I don't look in books and stuff, so I'll just go out and about. I think that pub looks interesting. I'd wander around Glasgow not knowing where I was, so I'd be wandering the pubs in the 90s in the Gobbles and Postle and stuff like that. I have no idea where I was.
God, man.
And just take the chance. But it was just as well I didn't know. You know, people had told me.
You would have been apprehensive and probably not went as far, and not explored, and not got such a rich understanding of the Scottish culture. Do you know what I mean?
And I got a bit of respect from the people like that. I just thought I'd come in for a pint. And
I bet people. I bet.
And there's quite a few places like that. That was a one and only time. I maybe wouldn't go back to that one again. But some then I found some brilliant pubs. You know, back in the 90s there was a pub called the Victoria Bar, which is now the Clutha.
Right.
Down at the Clyde. Side. And the Victoria Bar was like the best bar in Glasgow. It was like where all the kind of musicians, writers, poets, artists, and everybody used to go.
Cool,
Peter Mullen used to, the actor Peter Mullen used to be behind the bar there, and
working
behind the bar there, and all sorts of actors that have become really famous and musicians. So I used to hang about there, and I've just had a whale of a time. And that kind of got me straight into Glasgow and meeting all these characters in Glasgow, rather than just going to the pubs that, the kind of Wetherspoons type pubs or shit like that. I was thrown into this whole world of characters, and that's why I think I was pretty lucky, and that's why I loved Glasgow so quickly.
Yeah, man.
And just the characters. Man. I mean, it's, the first thing that happened to me, the first day that I arrived here, and I went out to the city centre and I asked directions to a pub. I think it was a Scotia. I was going to do the Scotia Bar.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, he started to give me directions, and I hold him, I'll just take you. And he took me to the bar.
He just walked
and
up.
He took me to the bar and he bought me a drink. He bought me half and half. He sat and had a chat with me. He sat and had a chat with me, and after about half an hour, and he went, "I was like, that fucking hell." That
was brilliant.
Is this what's going to happen every time I go out?
No, probably not.
I know.
But I'm super happy that was the way you were introduced to us.
It could have been worse. It could have been worse, but it wasn't. But so. There you go. That's how I.
No, that's it. That was your first experience of the rich tapestry of Glasgow.
Glasgow, yeah. And I think a lot of people come to Glasgow and that it scares them, and I don't know why. Because I think it's because they have a preconception of it.
Aye, it's going to be dangerous, and then when somebody's loud and rambunctious, then immediately it all confirms their prejudices and stuff. Do you know? But I think that's quite fairly normal as well, because it doesn't have the safest reputation, and it certainly didn't back then. Do you know what I mean? It was much worse, and for gun crimes and murders and gang criminal underworld element. You know what I mean? There was obviously a rich history there as well, so I can see why some people.
I kind of knew about that a little bit, and I would speak to people that were living in the project I was working in, the emergency place, and they would tell me all these stories, and and I'd be gobsmacked just listening to some of the things, but incredibly funny at the same time. Telling these stories of harshness and terrible things that happened but in such adventures, but in a way which is really engaging and funny, which kind of seeps into the culture of Glasgow, and and the literature and the songwriting and the poetry, and things like that.
Getting through the struggle by indulging in what we do. Do you know what I mean?
And I met so many people down at that side of town that were poets and writers, but who'd had pasts as well.
Yeah.
Poets, writers, musicians that all had that kind of past. They come through, living in the Gorbals, possible whatever, in kind of deprived areas and having a difficult upbringing, in and out of crime, but come out the other side and had this imagination that I was talking about.
Well, a lot of people do say that, don't they? That's what you're not necessarily you need to develop a good creative side, but it certainly doesn't seem to hinder the process, because a lot of the famous people who are famous for all the different arts have had that rough upbringing.
And if people, that's what I say, is tapping into their imagination. Like I said before, everybody's got an imagination, but people don't just tap into it because they believe they don't have it.
Yeah, that's true.
And when they start tapping into it,
kind of thing,
they kind of think, well, what if everybody's had experiences in their life, and it's all relative. Some people's experience might be more extreme than others, but we've all had experiences. We don't just born and grow up and do nothing for that entire time. We all have stories, and we all have things to say, all the things to talk about. Even people that may think they have the dullest of lives, they don't. Everybody has something.
Yeah, totally, man.
Everybody has.
I think there's always a grass is greener kind of thing in there as well. But even if you're not exactly following the path that you want, then it makes everything else seem worse as well. But that person will have something to contribute, and something if you can just pry away the layers of kind of conditioning. Do you know what I mean? But no, that's true, man. I get that quite a lot as well. People who are like, oh, it's so amazing, singing and stuff, and I'm like, I love it, man. But it's not. I've also taught people, and I've had that period where I never thought I would be good at teaching people. Do you know what I mean? I never really saw myself as even good enough to do it in the first place, never mind teaching people as well. But after a while, I've taught people from 7 until 70, and you see the patterns and you see the same problems. It doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? If you can get to the root of that and you can break away some of that conditioning, you can give people the creative side. You know what I mean?
Everybody's got it in them. Our brains are this amazing thing that we're going to use a tiny part of, and we don't tap into it. Nowhere near enough. So it's everybody can be creative. I always say to people who say, I can't do that. I said, well, if I drew something, it'd look rubbish. So, well, no, it wouldn't. If you drew a cup, then it would look like the cup that you've drawn, and nobody else has drawn. Therefore, it's unique. Therefore, it's a beautiful thing.
Totally.
There's no such thing as a bad drawing. I don't understand what a bad drawing is.
It's people have this perception of what it has to be like, or it's not valid. And I've never been happier since I was able to shed some of that stuff in my own creative life. That's brilliant.
People look at my stuff and they think, whatever you might think is great or think it's bad, whatever. But if people do like it, then they'll say, oh, that's really precisely done. That's really well done. And so, well, no, actually, all my paintings that I've ever done are all completely out of perspective. If you look at them, they shouldn't be the way they are.
Technically,
if you look at that table in conjunction to that wall and that chair and that thing, they're all completely out of perspective. Man, they're all totally opened up. So it's, and I'm not good at that. My brain doesn't work that way. So it's, and that's fine. That's fine. But that's the uniqueness of me.